I remember hearing about somebody passing away. Somebody took their own life, somebody that I knew. And it was the biggest shock. This person looked like they had everything going for them. Money was there, successful business. My kids are better off without me. You know, I felt like a total failure, like I wasn't providing for them. At the time, I just felt I just couldn't talk to anybody. You know, I don't want to be seen as weak. It's crazy, right? We see someone looking all happy, they look successful, they might even have the car, they might even have the money, but something's eating up at them. Maybe they don't feel worthy of it. Maybe they don't. So if you need anything, go get some help. Reach out to someone. Everybody's here to help you. Today's podcast is something that a lot of people struggle with and they don't really get the help they need. I've been through this myself in many stages over the years. It's dealing with the pressures of business. Okay, business can be a very lonely place. So let's talk about the mental health, right? And the pressure that comes with business. So many people out there neglect the mental health. They think it's just a bit of stress, but how do you define stress versus mental health? I think that's a very good question. And that's even got me questioning, how do you actually like separate those two? Earlier on, I remember when I was going through lots of debt, lots of pressure from me being a father, being a husband, being a son, being a business owner. I was under a lot of stress, a lot of pressure. And it was down to finances. Money, you know, people talk about money's not everything, but look at how much pain the lack of money causes business owners. Not even just business owners, people, general public, people that have got kids, people that ain't got kids. I'd say like the lack of money really creates a lot of pressure because without that, you know, you're under so much stress, so much strain. You're unable to pay your bills. You're not able to live the life that you want. We've got so many different commitments that we can't keep up with. And, you know, especially if your business is not going great. Here's the thing. Your business could be going great and you could still be struggling with like mental like health challenges around business because that stress, eventually, I believe stress comes into like the mental health. It starts to impact you in a very negative way if you don't manage the stress. When was the last time you actually felt under so much pressure and it wasn't going away? It's causing you sleepless nights, anxiety. I remember I used to wake up in the middle of the night and I'm fucking sweating buckets. My t-shirt's wet, you know, and it was the stress of like where I was. Look, when you go to bed, I always tell my clients this, when you go to bed, you don't want to be thinking about your problems. You don't want to be thinking about that. You want to be thinking about something good. I always encourage people to visualize their goal just as they go to bed, because that's what your mind starts working on. So if you don't get the help that you need, if you don't acknowledge, first of all, you got to acknowledge, hey, listen, I'm struggling here. You know, I'm not dealing with this too well. Sometimes people try to put this macho image on, like a front. They put on a front, but behind the scenes there's something eating up at them. So much anxiety, depression kicks in. And before you know it, if you don't know how to manage it, it will consume you. It'll eat you alive. I know people that have actually like taken their lives, people on a personal level that actually could not deal with the pressure. But I did not know that these people are going through that. Sometimes you just can't tell. You don't know what's going on behind closed doors. You've had that expression, right? You could have your closest friend and not know what they're going through, because not everybody's going to be sharing their challenges. Because look, I remember when I went through some challenges myself. You know, I don't want to be seen as weak. People see it as a weakness, but it's not weakness. It's not a weakness. So my message today to you is, if you're going through this right now, or if you one day do go through some challenges and you feel that you're helpless, you're weak, you don't see a way out of it, I want you to start using your imagination and start to really say, hey, listen, all right, this is where I am. This is how I'm feeling. Listen to your emotions, right? Feel your emotions. What are my emotions telling me about where I am? How long have you been feeling down for? Listen, people, you got to get help. Okay. You got to get help. We get help in all other areas of my life. This is something I don't understand. You hurt your foot, you go to the doctor. You got a toothache, you go to the doctor, right? Your car breaks down, you go to the doctor. Someone like reverses into your fence, you go to like someone to repair your fence. But when you're going through a tough time yourself, why not reach out for some help? There's nothing to be ashamed of. You know, people associate, you know, when we talk about mental health, now it's spoken about a lot more widely. But in the early days, if you were struggling with mental health or you were going to see a counselor, you'd say, oh, that guy's that guy's just crazy, or the person's mad. There's something wrong with that person. There's nothing wrong with anybody. But people felt so ashamed of actually getting help, and they suffer with this. And that suffering, that anger, imagine what it does to your body. It starts to break down your cells in your body. It starts to create disease, dis-ease. Hyphenate that word, dis-ease. Puts your body at dis-ease, puts your mind at dis-ease. If you don't do anything about it, it doesn't just affect you, it affects your entire family. So I want everybody today to understand, hey, listen, there may be a point, you could be the strongest person. Okay, you could be great, you could be the most upbeat person, right? You can be. But sometimes you will face a challenge. Sometimes things will happen. Sometimes you may feel that it's out of your control. You might feel weak and vulnerable. I get that. I've been through that. Imagine me being in 65 grand's worth of debt, 2 young children, okay? Can't even afford their school uniform. And it was consuming me. It was like really eating up. And yeah, maybe I was going through some mental health challenges, but doesn't mean when you're going through mental health, it's permanent. You can go through phases of it, okay? I was in high levels of stress. I'm like, how do I get out of this? Luckily, I surrounded myself with the right people. And I understood, like, my thoughts are creating my feelings. Now, if I don't monitor my thoughts, if I don't control my thoughts, and I allow them to run wild, my thoughts will run wild and I will start to create problems for myself. It affects the way you use your perception. I think it's kind of crazy that no one ever taught us how to think. Hey, listen, if you think really negatively about something for long enough, guess what it's going to start doing to you? It's going to start making you feel crap, right? It's going to make you not be motivated. It's going to make you feel like depressed, anxious, and not wanting to do anything. And this is where you start to feel good, isolating yourself from other people. You start closing yourself up. You stop answering your phone. You want to sit in the darkness of your room. You don't really feel like doing anything. Don't feel like going out anywhere. But when you see a friend, a family member, you put on this fake act, like everything is great. Yeah, so good. I remember hearing about somebody passing away. Somebody took their own life, somebody that I knew. And it was the biggest shock. This person looked like they had everything going for them. Money was there, successful business. That was a front. But behind the scenes, there's something else going on. In fact, 2 or 3 people I know this year that I've seen, that I know of, this has happened to. And to be honest with you, if there's somebody, their family member, even family members, sometimes you don't even know what your family are going through. They'll put on a front because maybe they don't want to be feeling ashamed or feeling weak, looking weak. So I think it takes bravery, it takes courage for you to actually admit, hey, listen, you know what? You're not a weak person. If you go out and get some help, that shows, hey, listen, I've got a level of courage. I am strong, because you've got to be mentally strong to ask for some help. But I feel this is what I feel. I feel that if you can't ask for help, maybe you're like ashamed of what people might think of you. There's nothing wrong with that. Some of the most strongest people in the world have suffered with mental health. Mike Tyson, he suffered with mental health when he's at the height of his career. And look how strong he was, known as the baddest man on the planet. So many people that go through this, right? It doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you a weak person. It doesn't make you any less. You should not be ashamed if you've got something going on. Now, you could have like problems going on in your relationships, okay? And you bring them into your workplace. Guess what? You don't get the help there. It has a knock-on effect in all areas of your life. And we've got to say, hey, listen, we're all human beings, right? We're all human beings. Sometimes something happens and we get emotionally involved with it. And all we start to do is sink down into that place where you just can't seem to bounce out. Sometimes you don't want to bounce out of being there. I get it. Sometimes you're feeling so crap that you're so comfortable feeling crap. You throw yourself a pity party. And the longer you stay there, the worse it gets. So what could you do when stuff is getting on top of you? Like, meditation is a great thing to do. Actually taking some time out and disconnecting from all of your thoughts. You got to learn how to control your thoughts. Now, we can accept or reject an idea. Your conscious mind can. Okay, you're going through a problem right now. In fact, save this podcast for one day when you do have something going on. So if you can learn how to control your thoughts, that's going to be a big game changer for you. It's going to be really beneficial to you. This stuff is going on. This is happening. She's doing this. He's doing that. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, let me just take out 30 minutes to just break away from that problem, that situation, that feeling, that energy, that emotion of that problem. Let me go put on some nice meditation music. Let me just go sit down on my own, put my headphones in, and let me just go listen to some relaxing music. I always like piano and violin music. It's a nice one. And there's another one that I listen to. It's called Good Morning Meditation. And so what you got to do is you got to practice it. It's just like going to the gym. It's like running on the treadmill. At the beginning, when you first start exercising, you're not going to be able to do it. You're not going to be able to focus or commit. You're going to want to jump off the treadmill. Same thing here. When you start to do meditation, when you start to quieten down your mind, there's that voice is going to be going on. It's going to distract you. That internal dialogue that you've got going on. You're going to be thinking about the problem over and over again. You're going to be so consumed by it. It draws you in. It's like magnetic. It magnetizes you to the problem. But once you do this, if you do this every single day for 30 minutes, right? Even if you need to do it twice a day, do it. Just sit down quietly, earphones in, okay? Just focus on the music, or light a candle up in front of you and just focus on that candle. Put the music in and just become one with that flame, that candle. Become one with the sound of the piano, Just focus on the music, focus on your breathing. And when you do have times when you're going to keep on remembering the problem that you're facing, the challenge, the issues, guess what? If you allow them challenges and issues come into your mind and you start going towards them, you start thinking about them, you start to like really dwindle down into them, game over. But on the other hand, if you can start to focus on stillness, calmness, guess what? You're going to feel so much more calmer. Then the more you do that, the more practice that you get, the better you start to feel. But at the same time, you might need some professional help, and that's okay too. Don't look at it as anything different. Don't look at it as a negative, something negative. You know what? I'm suffering with my mental health. Don't say like you're crazy, or don't feel ashamed of it. Just say, okay, it's just like me hurting my arm. I just need some help. Why do we make a big deal of like, I'm not saying it's not a big deal, but why do we make a big deal of not getting help when we need it, when we're not feeling emotionally stable? Okay, we have all these kind of crazy thoughts going in. I've had it where I don't want to be here anymore. Yeah, I've said it. In fact, I've got a book coming out soon, and I'm going to talk about this in my book. I go into depth, and this is going to shock a lot of people, what I went through and the thoughts that I had. I felt, look, maybe my kids are better off without me. You know, I felt like a total failure, like I wasn't providing for them. And I felt that way. And at the time, I just felt I just couldn't talk to anybody. You know, I don't want to be seen as weak. I don't want help. We push it away. But really, life really is all about going all out. Okay, getting help wherever you need it. There's always something good waiting on the other side. But sometimes all we can see is the problem, the pain that we're facing. We don't see it going away. Now, if you focus on the problem, my friend, all you're going to do is be in the problem. You can't disconnect from that problem. Once you can start to disconnect from where you are, you can start using your perception. You can start using your mind to look at the problem from another perspective. Okay, we can do that. But going back to what I said, like money is a big cause of like mental stress, mental health is a big part of it. I'm not saying that's the only cause of it, but I'd say maybe 90% of the world's problems around mental health come from like a lack of money, right? Lack of choices, and you're not able to do things. You feel pressure, especially in the business world I'm talking about. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but this is my opinion, right? I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but that's what I believe, because I know so many people have been there around money. I've had so many conversations over so many years. I've spoken to thousands of business owners, all right? Whether it's at one of my live events or whether it's on a call or whatever, the emails that we get in, so much people are saying, you know what, because of the money, I'm under so much stress. I've got the mortgage to pay. I can't take my kids away. My house needs repairs, and I feel so down. I feel so crap about myself, and I just don't want to be here anymore. And we get so many emails, and I just wanted to address this today. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with anybody. Okay, so be okay with asking for help. Be okay to say, hey, listen, today I ain't feeling too great. Hey, listen, it's been 2 weeks. I ain't feeling too great. Because if you ain't your best yourself, you can't give your best. You can't be there for your family. Be strong. You got to develop courage. Be strong. Say, you know what? I choose not to stay like this anymore. I wish not to feel crap anymore. I deserve better, and I want to feel better. No one doesn't not want to feel better. Sometimes when we're feeling down, and it's just so comfortable to be in that down position of being there. And sometimes you don't want to even feel better because you just feel so comfortable in that darkness. You feel accustomed to it, and you don't want to bounce out. And that's where it gets worse. It just goes down and down and down. You start to close people off. I went through a phase where I wouldn't even answer my phone to people. I'd stay in my room. I don't want to talk to anybody. I'd lay in bed for longer than I should. Sometimes I'm laying in bed still up like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I wake up and I don't want to go to bed and don't want to get out. Don't want to talk to anybody because of how I felt about myself. Yeah, how I felt about myself. How do you feel about yourself? Get a pen and paper. Write down like what's causing you to feel down. What's causing the stress, the anxiety? What's causing you like unhappiness? Write it down on a piece of paper. Write it down, go into detail and ask yourself, right, what can I do about this situation? All right, my finances, really pissed off. Okay, finances, write it down on another piece of paper. What can I do about my finances? How can I generate some more money? I'm not happy about my health. I'm really fucking depressed about my weight and I don't look good. Okay, you don't feel good, you don't look good. It's causing you to feel down. Okay, write that down. What can I do about it? All right, let's just put a plan together. Let's just go for a walk, 30-minute walk every single day. Okay, think about other areas. Whatever the area is, just focus on the area and say, all right, how can I improve the situation? We can do it. We can do it. We've got to be strong. Develop courage. Because when we're down, that's the time we've got to be our strongest. When we're feeling up, anybody can feel strong when they're up. But when you're down, you got to say to yourself, listen, I can't fix this on my own. Okay, I can't. I've tried it, but let me go get some help. Let me go talk to somebody. Let me ring up one of those counseling helplines. Let me just get some help. Let me just start the ball rolling. Don't be ashamed of it. Frank Bruno is another one. He suffered with mental health. I remember years ago, the Sun labeled him as like bonkers Bruno or something, and they got a load of backlash because look, here's this guy. You know, at one point, he's at the top of his game. The whole country's behind him. All of a sudden, the guy falls. Okay, now he's a nutcase. He's a nut job. And I'm so glad. I remember the Sun back in the day, horrible paper. And they start putting him down. Yeah, you don't deserve that. So look around people like you know. Observe their behavior. Are they spending longer periods of time in bed than they used to? Has their pattern changed? Keep an eye on these people because we don't know what's going on behind closed doors. We don't know. Anybody can put on a smile. How do you know I'm not going through something myself? There you go. I said it. How do you know I ain't got like stuff going on behind the scenes and I'm just on the camera putting on like a brave face? You don't know. Don't never judge a book by its cover. You don't know what anybody's going through. It's crazy, right? We see someone looking all happy. They look successful. They might even have the car. They might even have the money, but something's eating up at them. Maybe they don't feel worthy of it. Maybe they don't. So if you need anything, go get some help. Reach out to someone. Everybody's here to help you. We're living in a society now, which I'm happy now, that there is so much more awareness around mental health. Like even kids can suffer with mental health. And I remember growing up, there was no awareness. No one would talk about mental health. You know, if somebody was in a mental institution, they'll be labeled as like, the guy's a psychopath or she's a psychopath. She's mental, something wrong with her. But just going through a phase in their life, needs some change, needs some balancing, whatever. Go get help if you need to. If you ain't feeling good and it's been too long, don't let it overtake you. Be a winner. Okay, it takes courage. Because guess what? You have gifts that people need. You can help so many people. You can add so much value to this world. But I remember Bob Proctor used to say, when someone used to come up to him and say, Bob, I want to help people. He used to say, you've got to help yourself first. So get the help. Let's get the help if you need the help. Let's really focus on our mental health. What can you do that you enjoy that really puts you at ease? For me, when I was stressed out and stuff, I'd like to go for runs. Okay, so I'd start to go for runs when I'm feeling so crap. I don't want to feel like this anymore. So I'd force myself. Sometimes you have to force yourself to do stuff, right? You got to get that drive from somewhere and just do the thing. Just go out for a run, go out for a walk, and you'll see that dopamine's released in your brain and you feel so much better. And then you do it again and you do it again. You break the cycle, right? Get the help. So this is me checking out. And remember, mental health is not a fucking disease, right? It's just a condition that we can overcome, just like a toothache, right? Obviously a bit more serious than a toothache, but everything can be overcome with the right help. Okay, so I'll see you on the next one. You take care.